You guys, it's finally time to build Ginny's house. Yes, she is just standing there looking at her phone. Looks like she's taking a picture. But I wanted to show you what kind of house we are going to build for her. Now, I did cheat her money because I wanted to be able to make this house. She needs one, and there was a certain idea that I had in mind. So let me show you that picture. Now, of course, I found this house online and I absolutely love it. Now, does it match where she's at right now? No, absolutely not. We are in Willow Creek, of course, and the houses are a little bit different and they are a little bit smaller. But I did try to make this house small just because it's only Jenny and she doesn't need a lot of space. So with this build, I plan on taking it over to Ondarian. I hope I'm saying that right, but the new world that came with the Royalty and Legacy pack. I'm hoping to take this house over there. So we will see what happens, but that was my idea. So it is kind of African themed and it's white and then it has a red roof. I just love everything about this house. And this house actually has two bedrooms and then it does come with a garage and then there's a small little area for the washer and dryer area. I don't have the laundry day pack, but I did leave space to add in a washer and dryer, so hopefully I can find some CC and just add one for decorative purposes. So right now we already have the foundation of the house done. I'm just resizing some of these rooms upstairs because the stairs weren't fitting correctly. And so I'm just going to continue to add in my walls. And then I think I'm going to just extend the house just a little bit. Just because I felt like some of the rooms were a touch too small. So I'm going to extend the whole house out a little bit. And this back section is the patio area. And I really wanted to use the glass fencing just because the reference photo had glass fencing and I just think it looks better on the house with that being glass. And then I also extended the bottom portion as well just to line everything up. I'm going to add some windows just to match what I see in the photo, but also I'm going to make sure that it fits my personal style. And right now I do like these big windows just because it's going to let in a lot of light into the house. I do like there to be quite a bit of light inside of a house just because I use auto lights, and sometimes when you have auto lights you can't see anything because the house doesn't have enough windows. So I made sure to add quite a few windows, but also the reference had a lot of windows, which just made the process easier. And then I felt like these square windows matched okay, but I feel like I might need a different window here. I like the black and white look on this wall. I know the house isn't painted just yet, but I do like that style. So right here, I am just adding in the I guess you could call it like a small balcony for one of the bedrooms. This portion right here is the front of the house. I know it's a little wonky right now. It's just how I started building the house because I was intending to make the house face this direction of the street just because that's where people spawn. And I thought that it was going to work, but by the end, I do end up changing the position of the house. And now I'm just going to add in the front section of the house. It has like this small wall That's on the right side. And right here, I did have a little bit of trouble just kind of figuring out how to make that section, but I was able to make another wall and fake that section of the house, and I think it turned out really well. And then this portion here, adding in another wall so that I can add the door in. And there I did add in two doors just because I thought it was going to work, but I didn't like the way that it looked. So I just copied that front door. And then right here, I'm making a fake garage. I'm just using small rectangle windows. And then later on, I will add in a garage like door. And then I'm backing up the front door because it was a little bit too close to the stairs. And then I'm going to add in some more windows. And then this side of the house was actually a little bit difficult for me just because it wasn't cooperating the way that I thought that it was going to. But I was able to remove the wall and add in the windows to this side as well. Yep, right there, I just added in some more windows because this section here is actually going to be part of the living room. But the way that I did the foundation, it was interfering with how the house was sitting on the lot. Mainly like when we go inside of the house and the windows are too low for the foundation because the foundation is too high up. I do have to fix that just a little bit just so that it actually makes sense when you're inside of the house. And again, here I am just adding in some walls so that it makes it look like it has a bump out on the side. And I think it worked out really well. It was a little bit tedious to do this part because I had to make each one of the walls on this side, and then I just extended the roof a little bit. Even though it was tedious, it was worth it because the house ended up looking amazing. And then right here is the back of the house. So I'm just trying to add a little awning off of the steps here so the back door will go in this spot. I'm going to add in a few columns just so that the awning bit has something to hang off of. So I feel like the outside is pretty much done, except the stairs aren't where they are supposed to be, so I'm going to have to add those in again. And I went with this wood flooring just because it will look nice and it'll play off of all of the other colors throughout the house. And then I'm going to add in the bedroom doors here just so that they are in place. And also so that I don't forget about them because sometimes that happens when you're building a house. And then let's decorate the bathroom a little bit. I've actually never used this toilet before, so I thought it would be neat to add it into this bathroom. And then I really like this sink. It just feels really modern. And I went with black for right now, but I am going to change the colors later. I just feel like changing the colors once a room is built kind of makes things a little bit easier. So I do like these wood cabinets. I wasn't sure how I was going to create a door for the bedroom behind these cabinets, but I do end up just making the cabinets kind of an L shape, and I remove one of the cabinets just so that there's enough space for the door to open. I like the brown look of these cabinets just because it is gonna go well with everything else in the house. I kind of kept things a little neutral, but then I added in pops of color throughout the house by the wallpaper colors and then also the decorations that I used. So I am going to remove these walls because again, there's supposed to be stairs right there. And how I was building the house prior to decorating, that's what the floor plan showed. And I didn't realize how compact it would be in this back area where the kitchen is. So I needed to remove those doors. But then also, I am almost done with the kitchen. And here are the stairs. I wanted to move them over to the wall like this, and I was able to do that. And then afterwards, I didn't realize that you could actually remove the underneath of the stairs, because I definitely would have done that just because the wallpaper that I use didn't match up with the rest of the wallpaper in the living room. It was a little mismatched, but the good thing about Sims is that you don't always see the walls when you're playing, so it's okay. And so now I'm going to go ahead and add in the couch. And behind the couch, I felt like the windows were too low, but I ended up leaving them that way just because I end up covering them up a little bit with the curtains and then all the other decorations throughout the house. And right here you can see that the stairs are already wallpapered, or they have paneling on them already. So it is a different texture compared to the wall, and that is why I was saying that the wallpapers didn't really match up. And I really like this rug. At the time, I didn't know exactly what color scheme I was going to go for. So when I picked this green rug, I thought that that would look so cute. And so I tried to incorporate more green throughout the house. And then also Guinevere wears a lot of green as well. It's always nice to add these little plants throughout the house just because it adds that little extra touch. And if you don't know what to add, you just throw a plant in there and it looks great. And now I need a TV stand, so let's add that in there. I wasn't 100% sold on this TV stand, but I'm going to move on and add in some lighting because it's too dark in here. Nobody can see. And then another one in the bathroom, of course. Try to center that in there. And then we are back in the bathroom. I'm going to try to make the bathroom a green theme. And then I'm going to bring down the flooring down here as well. And then I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep the wood throughout the house, like downstairs. So I ended up adding the wood downstairs in the living room and the kitchen area. And then in the bathroom, I used like a stone texture for the floor. And I went with this lighter wood just so that it wouldn't clash with the kitchen, because I was going to go with the darker wood that was upstairs in the hallway, but it was a little too dark for the cabinets and it also kind of clashed a little bit, so I did not do that. And then I'm going to add a backsplash to the kitchen where the cabinets are, just to break up the room a little bit. Now let's add in a few more pieces into the living room. She needs a bookshelf. We can add in maybe a speaker. Really just things to clutter up the room and make it look less empty. This TV is kind of big. I didn't realize how big it was, but it'll work because the couch is so far away from the TV. And then we can add in a nice speaker in here. And let's also decorate the bedroom a little bit. And here I went for a green theme as well. Just try to make the house a little bit more cohesive. There's so many beds in here. And I like flowers, but I don't know how much I like them on a bedspread, because sometimes, depending on what you put in the room, it could just look too busy for me. So I kept her bedroom subtle, but also adding in pops of color here and there just so that it had more character. And of course, you got to add those plants in the corners when you don't know what to put in there. Yeah, that one works. And then I can just do the same thing on the other side and downsize it a little bit. I'm wondering if I should bring up the walls a little bit just because they're kind of short. There we go. Yeah, that's better. And then center those windows in the rooms. Have to add more clutter in here. We need a dresser. Yeah, I don't know which one to choose. There aren't a lot here. Ooh, that one looks like it's gonna match the bed. But yeah, guys, we are going to go ahead and continue to decorate this house. I leave it partially furnished and then I add in some boxes here and there so it's like she just moved in, you know? Looks pretty cool. I got the idea from D Sims and I really liked it, so I wanted to incorporate that with this build. And also, I wanted to have time to kind of pick when I wanted to decorate the room. So I wanted to decorate her bedroom, both bathrooms, the kitchen, and the living room. And I hope you guys like this video. If you do, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.